Hello, students. Today we're going to talk about some common errors in the argument essay. I have graded hundreds of these over the last 15 or so years. And in going through them, I want to point out some of the common errors so that you don't make the same mistakes as you're writing your argument essay. Let's begin by looking at one of the most common errors and one of the most damaging errors, which is either a missing thesis or a weak thesis. If we are missing a thesis, it's going to cause problems throughout the essay because there's nothing for the evidence to point to. There's nothing to maintain the focus throughout the essay. Therefore, missing a thesis is going to cause a lot more problems than, say, comma errors or spelling errors. It's really going to damage the entire essay. Remember that the thesis should appear at the end of the introduction and has to have those three parts that are listed here: the topic, the opinion, and the criteria. Don't forget that criteria. It provides that roadmap throughout the essay. So we want to make sure that that is included, especially in a research thesis. Let's then look at some examples of a weak thesis or maybe a thesis that is complicated or confusing to the reader. The first example, common vaping issues are peer pressure from social groups, social media, and false information. Bringing attention to this issue can help spread awareness to the problem. Is anyone unaware that vaping has certain issues? I think that this is something that people are aware of, and so we don't need to focus on spreading awareness of this problem. Instead, we want to provide some type of solution. Another common one that I see is bullying that takes place in either elementary schools, junior high, high schools. Students want to bring awareness to bullying in schools, but I think everybody is aware that it happens. So instead, focus on some type of solution. Also, the solution is the controversy. If you're trying to bring awareness, there's really no controversy here. We don't have multiple sides. If we take an issue like vaping, we might argue that there should be heavy fines imposed if you're caught vaping under the age of 21. This might bring controversy because some people will say those fines are too strict. Others will say, no, they're perfectly fine. By focusing on a solution, now we can provide some of that controversy that we're looking for. The next example, autonomous vehicles bring about ethical challenges. One of the problems here is, again, we don't have that controversy. The author is stating their ethical challenges, but not stating what they are or what the main ones should be. So we're not getting that major claim that we're looking for. Instead, we want to provide that claim. We might say it provides ethical challenges when it comes to whoever's in an accident, and then give criteria. So we need something stronger than this thesis, even though it seems to have that topic and opinion. For the next one, what are the problems with bringing religion into schools? One thing to note is that a question will never be a thesis. And the reason why is because we are then expecting the reader to answer the question and give their opinion. Therefore, we're not arguing a point, we're asking the reader to argue a point. So we want to make a statement instead of a question. For this next thesis, violent video games can influence a young child's brain, which may cause them to use weapons for violence as they grow older. For this one of the problems is we have two competing major claims. We have influencing a child's brain, and then we have using weapons for violence as they grow older. We want to have one major claim, and then this is missing the criteria. I want to know what specific topics you will discuss. Now, it could be weapons for violence. It could be one of the criteria that you use, but I want to see others as they are given within the essay. So think about what other topics you have discussed and bring that back into the criteria in that thesis. So the criteria will serve as a roadmap throughout the essay. You want to discuss each point in the order in which you give it in the thesis. Finally, we have this thesis. For your life and others' lives, do not drive distracted. If you need to pull over, pull over. Are we even getting a topic and claim here? This is a case where the thesis has just been ignored completely. So we get to this introduction that is maybe talking about texting and driving, but we never actually get that topic, that opinion, and that criteria. Because of this, we'll have nothing to point back to as we provide evidence. So we want to make sure that we are conscious of including a thesis at the end of the introduction.